hoarding snacks.
What's going on, everybody? Your boy Sin here, along with the rest of the crew, and we are back for another episode of Spoiler Boys!
Spoiler Boys!
Yes, we are here to cover Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 3, called The Convert. So, let's get right into it. Let's knock this out. So, gentlemen, as we like to start, how are you all feeling about this episode before we get into the conversation? Gage, we'll start with you.
I like the episode. It's a lot of information. It's like there's not a lot happening, but there's a lot happening. So this is one of those, like, you know, peaks and valleys that the show is happening, and this is definitely a valley heading towards a peak. I feel I enjoyed the episode though.
What about you, Jokes?
Yeah, I like this episode. Took us a little bit, like we got some good action. We got some solid action in this episode. But just like Gage said, there was a lot of info. We learned a lot of stuff. We saw some faces that we haven't seen in a little while. I enjoyed where this episode took us to.
I'm more so in the vein of Gage. I don't know. This will be episodes whether I like it more or less depending on where they're going with it. I was kind of just at a loss with the whole middle part, which is the vast majority of the show. Like, what's happening? Where are we going with this? So I'm kind of, I'm not sure where I fall in with this episode, just because I don't know where the show is going just yet with it. So I'm kind of stuck at that point. So maybe this discussion can help flesh that out for me. But let's just start at the beginning. We open up right exactly where we left off. Mando's down. Bo-Katan is sitting there contemplating what she just witnessed. She's not saying anything, but you can tell that's exactly what's happening. Mando starts to come around. They start to, talk, like, you good, you bathe, all that kind of stuff. Let's get out of here. He goes to retrieve some water for proof. And they head out. And on the way back, Empire shows up and starts attacking them, and we get a nice, lengthy chase action sequence within the planes and flying around, all that kind of stuff. What did y'all think about the way this opened up? What about you, Jokes?
I like where it opened up. So I can tell you now, initially, once they got out, and then like the Imperial, the Interceptor showed up, a part of me was like, I was like, well, hold up. I'm like, why all of a sudden are they getting chased by interceptors? Like, the TIE, like, we haven't seen a TIE fighter probably since did we see last season, I guess? Actually, have we seen TIE fighters in Mando? Yeah, obviously, Moff Gideon, yeah. But it was random. The fact that, they showed up chasing them and everything for it. So I thought it was an interesting start, but a part of me was like, okay, what's going on? Clearly, there's pieces of this puzzle that are still missing here for it. But that whole intro, once that occurs and they start dueling with the ships and pretty much those dog fights in the trenches, I would say, and it looked good. It looked good. As far as that, but I'm okay with the opening.
What about you, Gage?
Bo-Katan is shook, I think, right now. And I found it interesting that she asked him if he saw what she saw. And he's like, what you talking about? I mean, I saw the chasm as I was going down, and she was like, but nothing
else
living in the living waters. You get a decent explanation, which is the same thing I said at the end of the last episode. When we talked last time, like, she's like, yeah, it didn't used to be that deep. It must have been something from the war, caused, earthquake or something like that. But she doesn't tell him what she saw. And I'm wondering whether or not she just automatically became a believer. She doesn't say anything.
Yeah, I think she's fighting with it within herself.
I feel like she's now, it's almost like having I don't know, dog. That's like believing in a religion, some other religion besides Christianity, your whole life, and then Jesus comes back. And you like, oh,
you seen a miracle or something like that.
Yeah, like you know, for her whole life has been fake. It's not a real thing. So like they do this thing where like very briefly in the very beginning of the episode, you get a little bit of that, and then they snap you out of it because the next thing you know, they being chased. You know what I mean? And it kind of diverts back to that. So now your mind is on, you know, like, hey, we not moving fast enough to like, we moving so fast I can't stop. You gonna have to jump out the ship. Like that's where we are. Now that's what we're talking about, what we're thinking about. But like those, to me, very important kind of poignant moments about Bo-Katan as a character and Mando as a character and his belief and him being raised that way and always believing it no matter what, and her being like, what you're talking about is silly and it's stupid and it's not real and it doesn't actually matter. Yet once she comes out of the living waters, she never takes her helmet off again.
Nope.
And it's like, maybe I did mess something up. Maybe I wasn't right. Maybe I couldn't lead the people because I wasn't supposed to lead the people. Maybe what my father was doing is great of a man. You know, that she talks about her father being a great man. Maybe my father being a great man and being whatever. Maybe because he lost his way. Maybe because we lost our way or whatever. We didn't follow the "this is the way" mantra. Maybe that's why we are where we are. And I think that there's, with helmets on, bruh, the way that they act.
Yeah. Yeah, I know someone's going to bring up at the end, but yeah.
These moments of just like, nah, you can feel it. And then, yeah, immediately we thrown into like TIE interceptors. And I love the fact that he calls out that like, yo, these joints are tougher than TIE.
Yeah.
These ain't the same. You know what I mean?
And like the fact she was like, yeah, well, you know, when you take down enough warlords, Imperial Warlords, some of that, they like, tend to want payback.
She's like, I pissed off enough people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's like, why? Where they come from? You know what I mean?
And she's like, yeah, my bad. That's on me. That's on me.
No lie. I thought by the time they finished that, I thought we were gonna see a Star Destroyer. Because I was like, I'm like, where the hell are y'all all coming from right now?
When all of them were coming, I expected like a big Star Destroyer to appear behind them, like through the clouds and everything. It's like, ooh,
time to get low.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever she did last, dog, she really made the wrong one mad because they straight up just bombed her home.
Facts.
They was coming for blood, and she would have normally just been in the castle.
Yeah, she'd have been dead.
If she hadn't been with Mando, going to do the things she didn't believe in.
Funny how things work out.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's that kind of stuff that's like, okay, I see kind of what y'all are doing here. And they just they show off her skills, flying the ship. She's like, don't sweat it. I like, you know, R5 being a little scared.
Yeah. Hey, when they first got attacked, or right before they got attacked, and they was like, this is the way. Did Grogu say that as well when they both looked at him?
What he said was rattling. But I feel like he was trying to say this is the way. And that's kind of dope.
Yeah.
I do feel like he was trying to say that joint. Like,
yeah, they both kind of looked at each other, looked back at him like, did he just, okay, go. Okay. But yeah, I thought it opened up terrific as well. I thoroughly enjoyed the chase and everything that was going on in there. So right after that, we moved to Coruscant, and we pretty much stay here for the vast majority of the episode. We get there and we see Dr. Pershing from season 1 to operate, clone on Grogu and all that type of stuff. He's giving like a symposium or something, talking about his
TED Talk, dog.
Yeah, pretty much.
That was a TED Talk.
Yeah. Arena's full of people. He stands, got a big hologram up, and he's talking about his history and his mother and how the Empire was wrong, and you know, but he still believes in the work that he did, and cloning is so important, all this kind of stuff. He's walking out. Everybody's just praising him, and oh, you're so brave, and yada yada yada. And I'm like, okay, you know, trying to figure out what's going on. What do y'all think is happening at this point? What about you, Jokes?
So I mean, we've seen from what he said, you know, since the the era of the Empire and the way that they've run things has finally turned its tail. We're going in this new direction now. So we're seeing he was talking about they're doing a amnesty program. So they're trying to pull all these people that were like the grunts for the Empire and trying to work them back into everyday life. I mean, literally, my man's job is just like, I forget his name from Andor.
Yeah, doing like data processing or something.
Is just in a seat doing data processing. Boring ass job, but this is what they're trying to do to get them into the lights or reacclimated to the real world. You know, having those meetings with the droid, just asking those questions. You know, do you feel anger towards your peers? Do you feel anger towards the Republic and all this type of stuff? It just seems like it's meant well and what they're trying to do, but I'm still getting sort of empire-y vibes with how they're going about trying to do this,
to reacclimate people.
Yeah,
I feel that. So as he leaves and he walk around, you can tell he's kind of worried. This is all kind of new to him, kind of thing. And he's headed back to his amnesty housing, which is pretty much an apartment complex. And he catches some other people like him sitting at a bench, drinking, talking. Hey, come on over, and he hesitantly kind of does, and they introduce themselves to him, and he recognizes what's her name? I have it written down here somewhere, and I can't.
Elia, I think. Like initially, we still never. Technically, in the beginning, we never knew her name because when we seen her in like the other episodes, we just knew her as working with Moff Gideon in them.
Right. She was Elia Kane. She was like a communications officer there, so they recognize each other. I'd expect to see somebody from Gideon's crew. And they're like, you one of them.
You work for that dude.
But she brushes it off like, yeah. We don't do that, yada, yada. And they start having conversations about things they might have missed. Like, what did you miss? And he's like, no, I don't miss anything about the Empire. No. We're talking about like everyday stuff, like, lighting, snacks, all that kind of stuff. And they're talking about, he tells him he likes the yellow biscuits. What's going through your head seeing this first interaction with them, Gage, and this scene that's unfolding before us?
I mean, clearly she's a snake.
Oh, facts.
It's not like, I mean, you see her in the beginning of the joint when he's when he's at the symposium or whatever, giving his little TED talk. You see her walk through, you see her looking at him, so you could tell something's up. Like, it's not just like she's a plant. You know what I mean? What I'm just not sure of is whether the rest of them are in on it or not, or if it's just her. You know what I mean? At the time, and I'll be honest. It took me a minute because I couldn't remember. Like, okay, when I saw her in Ant-Man, I couldn't remember. I was like, I know her from somewhere. And it took until I saw this episode to be like, Moff Gideon joint. She's from this joint. So I'm like, okay, she getting that Disney money now. Let's you know what I'm saying? Let's do our thing. When I see
that bad.
Yeah. And so as he's talking to her, and I'm listening to, like, you can see like her reaction. She doesn't even, like, when he walks over, she doesn't even turn and look at him when he first comes there.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it all feels like they're just kind of easing him in. You know what I mean? Like, you one of us now. Is, but the thing about this, the whole amnesty thing, is that it's like, this is basically their version of like the same thing the U.S. did after the Holocaust, where they brought like German scientists and stuff like that over, and they like Operation Paperclip and all that kind of stuff, where they brought people in to work on atom bombs and space race and all that kind of stuff. They kind of like worked them into society here, and all I could think, dog, was Hydra. That's how I feel about it. Like, they got it's a Hydra agent, you know what I mean, in there, and it's gonna be their undoing. And the New Republic is Shield. And Hydra is all up in there.
Yeah, I'm pretty much in full agreement with you on that. But as she's sitting there befriending him and they're talking, she says, I'll show you around. We'll hang out, I'll show you some of the sights, all that kind of stuff. He's like cool with it, so he heads back to his place, getting ready to go to sleep. Gets a knock at the door, goes outside, nobody's there, but there's a black box, and inside of it is the yellow biscuits he was talking about that he missed from the Empire. So, okay, somebody seems to be looking out for him in some type of way.
Someone has a hookup, because that ain't something that you just go to that
it
convenience store.
It looked like an Imperial box. Yeah, like you just gonna leave that at the front doorstep for anybody to just walk past and see. But whatever.
So like a setup to me.
Mm-hmm.
So she gonna kill Slim. He about to blow up right now.
Yeah, that's what I thought was gonna
Like,
happen.
open that box and kiss it.
Gonna see that biscuit, get that smile on his face, and boom.
He opened that joint, seen them biscuits. I was like, oh, them joints poison. Don't eat those, Doc.
They're not dope. They just got that Empire flavor that he loves so much. What do yellow biscuits taste like? They were talking about different color ones, like red ones. But
she like the red joints.
Right. Biscuit rations. But anyway, so they do end up going out. She's showing around the city. They're eating these. I don't know if it's some type of glowing ice cream or lollipop.
Infinity Stone.
Something.
Ice cream pops.
I don't know. One thing I do appreciate about seeing them kind of just hang out and walk around is you get to see more Coruscant, which is something I always kind of like to do since it's such a massive, well, it's a planet city. You know what I mean? So just seeing new aspects of it, I kind of like. They're talking. She's having fun with him. She's talking about the New Republic and trying to, I guess, get in his ear a little bit and trying to tell she's trying to sway him in a certain direction about getting back into his research and all that kind of stuff. I thought seeing the top of that mountain was pretty cool. Give you a bit of scale as to the size of the planet and everything. That's the top of like the tallest mountain there. And then she teased him to go touch it, and he gets excited. He tries, and of course, as you expected, feds come. No, don't touch that. Don't touch that. Leave it alone. But yes, we see her working him throughout this process to try to sway him more so in her direction. And she does end up admitting that she was the one that left the cookies for him. So he goes back to work, data processing. He's contemplating everything. He's kind of starting to question what's going. He reached out to, I don't know if it's his coworker or his supervisor, just kind of asking him about, hey, like if I wanted to do, some research on my own. Like, nah, not a good idea. Just stick to the data. And you can ask him
the robot, like the
right
droid that was questioning him about his feelings.
Does he have to do that every night or every morning? They did distinction.
I'm assuming it's like once a week. That's how it came off to me. Like I didn't think he was doing it every day.
Okay. But there's a point there while he starts looking at the data that he's processing. It's like, yeah, why can't we just keep these and reuse them? Like they're perfectly fine. Nothing's wrong with them. Nah, that's Empire tech. We don't kind of do that. You can see him start to question what the High Republic is doing. And he currently brings all that information back to her, and she gets more into, I can kind of, if you want to, get a mobile lab going, I can help you with that. Take some time, think about it, let me know. And eventually he does break down and ask for help. Kind of after seeing what's going on at work and asking these questions we're talking about, he decides that listening to her is for the greater good of the Republic if he does work on his cloning project in secret. Jokes, how are you feeling about this so far?
Shady. Very shady. Because I'm like, you're supposed, like, obviously you're very, he was cautious. Like, initially, he was very timid about wanting to actually go along with said plan. But clearly there's something amiss here. I don't know if this is a Moff Gideon working behind scenes, trying to, hey, I need that dude back. Like I want to go back to what I was doing, but I need that smart dude, something along the lines of that. But clearly from the jump, this whole entire thing is just iffy from the beginning, and I was like that the whole entire episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What about you, Gates?
The fact that they said that, like, they thought that, like, the idea that like they were fed the idea that Moff Gideon escaped, like they did it on purpose, like it was a propaganda. Like, why would you do that? You know what I mean? But the fact that the idea of it is floating around and that she was basically like his second in command, or at least it seemed like she was like his second in command, is telling, right? Because it's kind of like she got to be doing something for him. You know what I mean? Because none of this feels right. None of this seems right. A little bit of it is too easy, and she is, I think, working the same seeds as what the Empire did in the first place. Again, it just feels like Hydra. Like, it's like, no, but if, even though you're not supposed to do it, what you would be trying to do would be for the greater good of the Republic, right? Like, you know better than all the people. You know what I mean? It's just one of them things, which I think is easier for her to play on because of him saying that, like, the whole reason he got into doing cloning is because his mother died, and if they had had the simple ability to clone like a heart,
she would have been able to been saved.
Yeah, it would have been needless for her, you know, for her to die. And so his whole reasoning behind, then you even get that moment where he talks about his mother having been a doctor. So it's kind of in his system, and his want to help people just makes him easy to manipulate. You know, he's not a fighter, he's not a soldier. He thinks what he's doing is the right thing, and it's kind of like, well, that's how you ended up in this situation in the first place. So it's just kind of like watching history repeat itself, if you will. You know, and none of it feels good. It all feels like she's untrustworthy.
1000%. Yeah. So after that, she decides to help him get the stuff. He just, well, other way around. He decides to take her up on an offer to go wherever it is to go collect the stuff he needs to get his mobile lab together. So, all right, get dressed. We have to leave the city. And he's completely a wreck and nervous, and she's walking around all cocky, smiling and everything, like, just relax, we got this. And they sneak onto the metro train. That's what I'm gonna call it, because I don't know what else to call it for right now. But they sneak onto the metro. You know, he's so obviously nervous, and she's trying to calm him down, like, relax, keep it chill, talking to people, saying little whatever it is she said to the alien guy that was looking at him. He like nodded back to her. They're relaxing.
She said like Shrugs Day or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Like apparently they only have like a 5-day week. Like their week is only 5 days or something like that, and that's one of the days. That's like their Wednesday or something.
Hump day. Okay. Well, yeah, but as you see, we have some officers come on the train, starting to check people's tickets. They obviously have no tickets, so let's get up and let's get moving. And he's being a little hot, keep looking back and all that kind of stuff, kind of bringing attention their way. Of course, one of the droids picks up on it and starts slowly walking towards them. So they're doing the whole into the next train thing. When they get to the end and there's nowhere else to go, droid's slowly closing in, and they got to make a jump for it. He's scared, of course, but what else are you going to do at that moment? So they jump off. They've made it to the ports where like the decommissioned Star Destroyers and all that kind of stuff is. It's a pretty nice shot seeing it from there. And then they enter and are starting to look for this lab. Of course, he's worried because what if you get caught? She's like, nah, there's nobody here. Nobody, surveils this place. We're good out here. We should be good. They go in. They find the lab. They're getting it together, and something starts making noises, if you will. Jokes. In this scene, what are you feeling about their conversation they're having? And I'm pretty sure we all expected somebody to come in there after them. What's going through your head at this point?
Man, at this point, I was thinking to myself, like, dude, you messed up. So I didn't know if they were. Initially, I was like, okay, maybe he's gathering components for what it was he would need it for typically, and they were just going to take those, and so they could, whoever it was, to take it and start working on the same stuff that he would do. I wasn't quite sure where that was going to, but once somebody showed up, I was thinking, after hearing that Moff Gideon escaped, I was like, oh, either this dude Gideon is here right now to either collect dude so he can come back and work with him, or he's coming here to tie up a loose end or something like that. Even though Gideon's in jail, I'm sure this dude knows stuff, but obviously they're trying to work him back into society, so maybe he doesn't know as much, or they don't think it's important enough that they can just let him go live a normal life. But there was just something about her.
They didn't know enough to know that they let this dude do a TED talk on all of what he was working on while he was with the Empire. It ain't like It ain't
That's
like
true.
they have no idea what he was doing.
That's true.
I was going to ask y'all about that too. Did y'all find it weird that he has this big symposium talking about cloning and all this kind of stuff, but yet they treat him like a low-level worker and like he's not allowed to do that stuff? So what's the point of letting them say that in front of all these people and get all these praises for it? You know what I mean? Did y'all feel like that was just kind of weird?
Just trying to make him feel good, I guess. Like, even though he's just doing the BS job, I guess they want to make him feel like he's important, even though he's technically not in the grand scheme of it all now.
Nah, I mean, I don't know if that joint was supposed to be like they were using him as an example of why these aristocrats or whatever who have maybe decided to do this amnesty program, maybe they're funding this amnesty program, and he's like, you know, look what he was doing, look whatever, and because he's saying to them, you know, like something along the lines of like, if not for the amnesty program, or thank you for the amnesty program, or something like that. So 100% like it's dumb, right? That like they are aware of what he does and what kind of work he was doing, and how important that work is. I think though the point of that is that for them, like, you don't have any money and we're allowing you and we're working you back in, and because you work for the empire, you're all lowly. None of y'all are a better or more important part of society, you know what I'm saying, than any of the rest of y'all. All of y'all are just low level. We giving you housing, we're giving you food, and we're giving you work, you know what I'm saying, and we're allowing you the freedom to walk around and be a part of our wonderful new republic, regardless of like what knowledge you have or who you formerly were or whatever. Y'all are all on the same level. Like, whatever it is that she does, whatever her job is in the new republic, which they never say, I don't think what she actually does. She lives down the hall from him. Like, they like 3 doors down from each other.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it explains kind of how, like, when he gets that little doorbell ring and he goes to fix himself and go answer his door, which, like, in the middle of the night, I'm not even doing that. Like, I'm not like, oh man, let me make sure I'm straight before I go answer the door. Hey, don't who ring on my doorbell? Like,
this time of the night,
right?
Like, what's going on? You know, whatever. And he looked down both sides of the hall and don't see nothing. Yeah, because she lives in the joint 3 doors down. Like,
she's right there.
Yeah, she's literally right there. Yeah, I mean, I agree. Saying I do think it's kind of dumb, right? That they kind of give him. It seems like he would have some sort of an elevated status.
Yeah,
like he would be more important to the new republic than he is. Which, again, if you look at the parallels and what they're doing with the empires are basically Nazis. Basically, that comparison between them and the Nazis, it is, you know, the U.S. as opposed, they gave these high scientists within like I lost y'all again.
You're back.
There
now.
you are. Now you're
There
back.
we go. You know, they basically gave them amnesty to come to the U.S. but basically work as scientists for the U.S. to help develop the atom bomb and to help, you know, stuff like that. So you would think that they would do the same thing, that it would be mirroring that, because that's kind of what it seems like they're showing. So you would think, oh, he's going to have some sort of a high level clearance, amnesty or whatever. And that would kind of make sense then, that he would see somebody who worked on Moff Gideon's ship, because clearly Moff Gideon is like higher up. So somebody who was a second in command to him would have knowledge or information or something like that. And they would maybe only be giving them amnesty because of what they can offer to the society that, you know, still does exist.
Right.
We don't do that with him. He's just like,
yeah,
he's just a lowly dude. He just you know what I mean? Like, nah, you just a worker bee.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you can kind of see that they treat them as if, like, when he talks to like his boss, when his boss comes by and it's like, yeah, nah, we don't. I mean, you could do a C-1025 whatever form to try to do it, but I've never seen somebody in the amnesty program do one of those. But you could try it, because, you know, whatever. And it's like, So clearly, because they're in that program, they don't actually see them as the same as the rest of society. Yeah, they're not really equal to those who weren't members of the Empire. And so maybe they just have decided not to give them that bonus. You know what I'm saying, if you will. So, yeah.
Yeah, but I did think they were going to pick up more equipment when they were in the ship, and then all he left was with little case. Like, dude, I thought you need a lab. Don't you need like beakers and like?
Yo, when she said I can get you a whole lab, like I was thinking my man was like, it was a mobile lab, so I thought they just gonna have like a van. And
I mean, I imagine it had to be something that you could carry, because I'm like, how else are they gonna get it back?
I thought it was gonna be something more than that. It's just in case he threw some things in there. Like, do you expect to come back all the way out here, bro? You barely made it here this time.
She didn't have a plan for how she was going to help him get anything bigger than that back, and he ain't asked.
That is true. That is very true. But he grabs what he needs. And they start to head out because somebody's coming. They're having a lot of commotion on there. They try to make it out. Only to get outside. Spotlight gets put on him. Freeze, put your hands up. Get surrounded. Of course, he's panicking, you know, trying to figure out if there's anything he can do to get out of it. And she kind of just goes stone-faced, turns around, face him. Come up off that. They lock him up. They're like, thank you for, you know, your help. And he's just, he can't figure out what in the world is going on. But she just turned him in. And they escort them out of there. They get back to the New Republic. They have him strapped down to getting ready to use a mind flare on him, as he calls it. And they're like, oh, no, this is not that. This is
Nah, you got to snap. When he saw it, that's a mind flare.
Dude was just running like, oh, no, this isn't mind flare. This is a flare mine. This is a completely different thing.
I know what that is. I used it on somebody. That's a mind flare.
Right. And he's like, no, she's lying. No, she set me up. Like, I don't know what's wrong with him. And she's just playing along with it. Yeah. They put the thing on him. They cut it on. She asked if she could stay because it is her friend and she cares and she's worried about him. Like, oh, of course. It's all good. Yeah, take your time. Take your time. And as soon as they leave, she cranks that bad boy up to 1,000 with the straightest face ever. I'm pretty sure we all saw that coming. Am I safe in assuming that we saw?
I wasn't sure what she was gonna like stand by. I just thought she was gonna kill my man at one point, but I wasn't quite 100% sure. So I'm just trying to figure out like what she's trying to accomplish right now. Like,
I was about to ask that.
If she'd have killed him, I guess it would have been too obvious. But I guess if she uses the machine, I don't know if she's trying to just fry a part of his brain that maybe he does know something. They're trying to work against him, but I'm still confused because as far as I know, she could have just killed dude while they were trying to recover stuff and done with it and got low.
Yeah. What about you, Gage? Do you have any clue what the motive is here?
No.
I understand. I feel so much better with that for me.
Like, right now, none of it makes sense. So like, I'm where he is. I'm like, I don't understand. Like her, if she snitched and was like, he's still bad, he's having thoughts of going back to the whatever, like, nah, Slim, but you with him and you helped him do it, and they have to know that you helped him do it because you were caught with them. So like, you being a secret agent doesn't really make sense. And she took the lab from him, kind of like, thank you. And it's like, so that made me feel like all of those particular soldiers were in on it, because the moment she didn't step away, helicopter dipped out, whatever, and I was like, oh, all right, so they're all in on it. They're all Hydra agents, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. They're gonna take him back. I thought they really was just gonna kill him and dispose of him. And she's like, I got what I need. I'm about to take this to Mars. And I'm thinking, yeah, but it doesn't have any like, he didn't put any cloning information. There's nothing there. Like, it's just
maybe they didn't know what they needed, and hopefully in there it gives them a place to start. Okay, he put these vials in here. We need these things.
I'm thinking that in some manner now, the reason why, so he was saying, you're going to erase my mind. You're going to get rid of my memories or whatever. I think she's trying to reset him so that she can use the mobile lab thing to get him to do the work that he was doing, thinking that he's doing it for the New Republic.
Okay.
That's where I'm at. That's what I think is happening. Because, and again, like, I don't understand, like, what her role is. When she's in the room with dude and he's like, you know, thank you for turning them in. We know it's tough for people. You know, they don't whatever. Come on, let's go. And she's like, nah, like, I don't know. Is it okay if I stay? Like, he was my friend. You know, whatever. I thought dude was going to stay too. Oh, okay. You don't want to go, then we can stay. You know what I mean? Or whatever. He just left. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like, the way it happened, it made it feel to me like he was like, come on, let's go. And I'm thinking he's just trying to walk her out so she don't have to watch it. And when she's like, no, I still care about him. He's my friend. I was gonna be like, oh, okay, yeah, we can stay. But when he left, I was like, oh, this doesn't make any sense. Why do they trust her that much? Why do they give her that kind of run? How long has she been there? Because she's been there before him. Has she been a plant in that program for, like, none of it makes any sense. So I'm assuming that in the next episode we're gonna get a fill-in on like how she got there, how long she's been there, and what she's up to, and who else in there, because she clearly isn't working by herself. Who else in there is actually in on it? Because it seems to me everybody else who was in that room has no idea. And I would think that the doctor was like, yeah, we're just gonna, you know, mess with you, you know, we're gonna help kind of reset you or whatever. We're not gonna take your memories from you. Would still be in that other room on the other side of the glass. But there's clearly nobody there. Nobody's on the other side of the glass. That's dumb. Nobody's on the side. So literally, I just want to make sure this is understood. We put a man, strapped him down to a machine to set him, and then we just left him.
Yep.
Everybody was supposed to walk away, including her. It's a microwave. For 30 minutes.
I was about to say, maybe it's something like that. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So when they come back,
my man his brain gonna be like popcorn.
Mush. By the time they get back.
Because initially, when he was getting the little beams in the head, like, he looked like he was enjoying it a little bit. It was a little smirk on, like he was getting like a massage. I don't know. And then once she cranked that joint up, and the beam started turning, you know, that dark reddish color. Like, oh yeah, this painful.
Yeah, but that's the reason why I have such an issue with the episode in general. Just right now, it's not making any sense. But I'm hoping some of the stuff you said, Gage, like that happens in the next episode, so we can bring it back and say, okay, now that last episode makes a lot more sense seeing it now. So I'm hoping so. But after all that, we finally get back to Mando towards the end of the episode. And him and Bo-Katan and Grogu have headed back to the rest of the Mandalorians and the Armorer because he wants to go and show them that, yes, I bathed in the waters. I have a witness, like I'm back. So they pull up.
Go ahead.
What? No, go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
Okay. So they pull up, and there's one Mandalorian kind of standing right outside. He comes out. He's kind of a burlier one, like a bigger one, and of course he's giving them all the attitude when they get there. And yeah, I was waiting for him to smoke him. But go ahead.
That's my man who he fought.
Yeah. Earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's one who's giving him. No, this is the one who's like, I'm trying to get that sword up off
you.
I'm about to be the lead. I'm about to be the head Mando in charge around this joint.
Been to give my man some problem coming in there.
Hey dog, I wanted them Bama's to wreck so bad.
I'm like, try. He got Bo-Katan with it right now. I don't know if you can handle it, bro.
He was talking that trash before he had a whole squad, but this time he had a whole squad with him. Like,
and if Mando tried to pull out that dark saber and try to go to work with the dark saber, I don't think that's going to work out quite well.
I don't even know if she gave that joint back.
Yeah, we didn't actually see her pass it. Okay. Okay. We'll see where this goes in the future. But yeah, he tells them, look, I'm here to see her. I've done what I do. I've been to the mines. I got proof. Bo-Katan signs off. Yeah, I was there. He did it. All right, we'll find out. So They go inside.
Oh, what did he call her? Night owl or something?
Night owl.
Yes, night owl. Night owl. Yeah. I guess it's because of the helmet. But they go inside. All of them go inside. Talks to the armor. Say, hey, I've done it. Here's the proof. I have my witness. She signs off on it. I was wondering what it was going to look like, what she was going to do with the proof, how to tell that it's true. But apparently, when she pours the water into some more water, it has a reaction. So it's like, okay.
It did something with that, like in the last episode or the episode before. She was showing the water and talking about the water or whatever. And it was like, okay, this is how she's.
This is genuine. This is pure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But so yeah, she says, yes, you're welcome back. This is the way, the whole nine. And she asked Bo-Katan the same thing. Did you do it? She was like, yeah, I did it, but I don't believe in that stuff. Well, have you taken your helmet off since you've bathed? No. Well, you're one of us now as well. Mm-hmm. And you're welcome here as long as you want. And just like you said earlier, like in this moment right here, even with them having helmets on and not being able to see their facial reactions, you can tell everything in the scene without anybody saying a word. Like, dude was in the back steaming.
Steaming!
He was steaming! Oh, as soon as the camera panned, I was like, oh, he is hot.
They gotta fight, and I'm so ready. They have to fight. They have to. Like, I feel like now that he's official.
Nope.
Yes. The last thing you said was they have to fight.
They do. They have to fight. And I feel like now that he's official, Slim's gonna feel like he can actually challenge him.
And do you think that's where the whole thing we were talking about the last episode with the sword passing around to get it back to her, and somehow that's how she'll end up back with it?
I think dude is going to challenge him. I think Mando's going to lose, and she's going to challenge Slim, and she's going to
get it.
Yeah.
Because she knows how to use that.
She gonna take that joint up off of him.
He'll try to use it, and he's not going to be able to be one with the joint.
And she gonna take that joint up off of him
and use it like a lightsaber's supposed to use.
I mean, or she's just like, you know what, then John, you've been right the whole time. Y'all have been whatever, and maybe it is that you're meant to lead these people, and it's not supposed to be me. You know what I mean, or whatever. That like what I consider my. If you think about it again, you gotta think about what happened to her whole world. Yeah. What she considers in terms of her birthright. Again, it's just like people believing in any religion, and then when aliens land here tomorrow and they admit that aliens are real, everybody's religion is like, well, dang, I guess we didn't, and it would just destroy so much about humanity and what people have decided is real and isn't and whatever. It's the same thing that's going through her head right now. So for her, it's like maybe my father and my blood lineage or whatever, maybe it really isn't. You know what I'm saying, or whatever, and maybe we did fail to walk the path, and maybe we did, you know what I mean? And so, because somebody like him, who technically is an orphan, who wasn't born one of them, who does kind of, he's like he's literally like the Luke Skywalker of their whole thing. He's like that chosen one that kind of came out of nowhere, who doesn't want it, but he doesn't want to lead, but he does believe in the way, and it's kind of like. All of these things have happened for a reason, right? And so outside of, there's a part of me that feels like if there was no Grogu, he would gladly lead the people.
Yeah.
He decided that he had a different purpose. But now he's kind of teaching Grogu to walk the way and trying to make Grogu a Mandalorian as well. And so if that's the case, then the mission that he was on before, when he was ready to turn that all away, that mission doesn't exist anymore. It's just fatherhood and him basically giving back to Grogu what was given to him when somebody came and rescued him. If you go back to story from the early from the first season. So I honestly don't know whether or not it's going to turn out that Bo-Katan is the one or if Mando is the one. But it ain't Big Jim Slim in the back.
Nah, not at all. I will say in this closing scene before it goes off, though, kind of like are we talking about like just saying something without saying nothing and still being a powerful scene? Like everybody coming up to her like, yo, like welcome, tapping on the shoulder. And and she's seeing the symbol back there.
on the
You know what I
wall.
mean? Yeah, and you can tell like it's all like everything you just said right now is playing over and over again in their head right now.
And another
close
piece
it out.
of it is, you know, the fact that they honor her, but they still recognize her in her clan, because
Yeah.
which is a big thing. Like, not only like, yeah, listen, we accept you, but we accept you as this from your clan. Because they could have easily just said, you know what, you bathe in the waters, you're now a part of this clan now going forward, and this is all that matters. But they still recognize her previous house.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think though that so before she went off and joined like the Death Watch, I think that her clan or her, you know, parental lineage or whatever is still important to the Mandalorian lore.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I think they did respect that before, like, you know, Sabine and before they ran off and did their own thing. But again, I think her seeing that joint hanging on the wall was just like, I don't even know that joint's real. Like that,
right?
Mythosaur is not a mythosaur; it's a realosaur, bro.
Realosaur.
And that thing is huge.
That joint looks just like their helmets. That's what's crazy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't know what direction it goes. Do either of y'all think they may have led those TIE fighters in some way to the covert?
I'm gonna say no, since they jumped they jumped to hyperspace. And I know the TIE fighters are not equipped to do that, so I'm gonna say no. Now, had there been if we had seen like now,
TIE fighters came from somewhere, just like you were saying.
That's
like
what I was gonna say. That's what I was gonna get at. We didn't see a whole ship or something. Now, if it turns out that there was like a Star Destroyer or something like that, I think there's a good chance that they could have led into one.
If they could somehow track their plot point of where they jumped to, then yes. If it was a Star Destroyer out there, because they had to come from somewhere. You're correct.
I mean, this is like leading into us witnessing the true birth of the First Order.
Mm-hmm. Like
the Empire is gone, but TIEs are still out there. So if TIEs are out there, somebody's leading them. Mm-hmm. Somebody's running this, right? And we know that Snoke has to be out there. That's what this whole cloning thing is about. That's what we know. Palpatine still exists, right? From the new movies or whatever. So like, this is what we're witnessing is, to me, the actual birth of the First Order is what's happening right now. And so the New Republic and how weak they are, how easy it is to infiltrate them because of their hubris, bringing people in again, that whole like Hydra thing, just sneaking within their society and doing stuff behind their back, and they don't even know what's happening because like that one dude said to him, he was like, "Can you imagine? Like I almost got recruited, but I don't even know if it's the Empire or the Republic or like I don't even know who." Can you imagine me fighting? No, Slim.
Nope.
I cannot.
You're getting body day one.
What? Yeah. I was about to say that, Joseph.
Like, they're just, again, they're more diplomats and aristocrats, and what they're doing and what's going on with them currently is, to me, showing how weak they are, how easy to infiltrate they are currently. And I think that's what we're getting ready to see. I think we're getting ready to see like that undoing. And there's, this joint hasn't really had a whole lot of politics in it. I think we might be getting ready to get some politics. It's what Star Wars really is. And
they're on Coruscant, so.
Oh, perfect place for it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay, well, before we get out of here, we got to put a ranking on this thing. So, Jokes, I'm going to start with you. Where do you rank episode 3, season 3 of The Mandalorian?
I'm still kind of on par with the last few episodes. I'm going to say a 7 out of 10. I enjoyed the episode. I like the extra info that we get, but it's kind of like what Gage said. I think we're at the bottom of that valley. We're getting ready to ramp up right now. So I'm still with a 7 with this one.
Okay. What about you, Gage?
I'm in the same place. I feel like they maybe could have done a better job of like intermingling what was happening with Mando and Bo in with that other story. Like that whole middle section, just kind of following him and staying on him, felt disjointed, and it felt like we weren't watching The Mandalorian anymore. And that kind of like
felt like Andor.
They really could have, like, if they like. It would not have been complete. I'd have been upset, but it would have been completely unexpected if they had like ended the episode when she cranked the thing up, and that was it. And then like we wasn't gonna get you know,
a resolution till next week.
A resolution for them showing up and him having bathed in the living waters until the beginning of next episode. Really could have been, you know what I'm saying, what it was. And so I feel like it would have been better if they had kind of jumped a little more back and forth between that and shown us a little more of Mando, like this is all happening simultaneously, you know what I mean, or something like that. But I think because they didn't do that and because they focused so much on the Doctor and what was going on, that clearly it is very important to what the story is going to be going forward for both of those characters. But it still felt, it kind of got boring for me, like to like have all of that after the dog fight and the you know, and then there's, I don't know, it just wasn't quite there for me. So I do think this is going to be a more important episode
going forward.
But again, I think we're at a valley, and this is, you know, it could even be if it wasn't for the dog fight, this would probably be a 6. And for Slim Jai like getting carried at the end of the at the end of the episode, so it's like a 7, maybe a 7.
It's a 6 for me. I didn't hate the episode by any means. Just the whole middle part just really just has me at a loss.
It was boring.
And yes, boring. Yes. But like I said in the beginning, it's depending on, and like you just mentioned, what happens with this next episode, getting back into some background information on why the last episode, what was happening there, could definitely raise this episode up for me once I know what's going on. Because right now, we're just in a loss to what's happening. But either way, I am still looking forward to seeing this next week and seeing where they're taking that story direction, and especially seeing what's going on with Bo and Mando right now. Because I'm really wanting to see one of them, if not both of them, put their hands on Big Slim. I do. I'm really looking for that in the future. But 2 7s and a 6 for episode 3 of Mandalorian. Y'all know what it is. We'll be back here next week, same time, episode 4. So until then, we'll catch you later. Deuces.
Loading snacks.